So we haven't looked at stats in a couple of weeks, so I figured throw a bunch of stuff up on the board. Here we go. I want to talk about rookies first. People always say, "Oh, we'll talk about rookies. Talk about rookies." Rookie classes can be overrated, and sometimes people look at a rookie and they go, "Hey, this guy's going to be fantastic. He's gonna." And sometimes people project out a rookie to be more than what they're going to be. Sometimes they don't end up being a superstar. Sometimes what you see with their rookie year is what you get. Points leader among rookies is still Olofsson with 35, despite the injury. He still leads the league. Makar 33 and Quinn Hughes with 32. Goals leaders, Kubalik with 18, Olofsson 16, and Gurianov with 11. Quietly having a decent season. Gurianov's one of those ones that I think what we see is what we get. He may very well be a 20-goal scorer, and that's fine, but I don't see a ceiling that's much higher than that. Assist leaders, Quinn Hughes 28, Makar 24, and Adam Fox, the rookie people should be talking about, has 20 for the New York Rangers. Power play goals, Olofsson still leads there with 9. He'll lead till he gets back, I would think, because Gurianov's next with 5, and Nick Suzuki with 4. Quietly having a decent rookie season with the Montreal Canadiens. Ice time leaders, Quinn Hughes, 21 minutes and 34 seconds on average for Vancouver. Ethan Bear, 21 minutes, 14 seconds. Makar, 20 minutes, 40 seconds. And John Marino, 20 minutes, 22 seconds. So there's a lot of diamonds in the rough in this rookie class. And so that's why I wanted to do various stats so I could point out guys like Suzuki, Bear, Marino, guys that maybe aren't getting talked about as much as they probably should be. Especially Marino in Pittsburgh. He's been fantastic. When everybody gets healthy, I'll be interested to see where he lands in the lineup. And that's still a ways out. So when Dumoulin and Schultz are back, I'm wondering how that's going to work. But anyways, so that's your rookie stats at this stage. Getting over to the stats of the veteran players, mostly veterans. 2012 draft class. Your top 3 scorers from each draft class from 2012 right through to 2018. I think it's a little bit early for us to talk about the top scorers from the 2019 draft class. Even 2018, I kind of felt like, and then I saw what the top 3 were, and I went, yeah, it's fine. 2012, Teravainen leads that draft class with 9 goals, 34 assists. Tomas Hertl, 15 goals, 20 assists. Tanner Pearson, 12 goals, 22 assists for 34 points. It's worthy of note, Pearson passed through the draft completely that first time, and the second time when the Kings drafted him in the first round was seen as kind of a bit of a risk. 2013, Nathan MacKinnon, 27 goals, 41 assists, leads that draft class. Sasha Barkov, 14 goals, 35 assists, and Jake Gensel, 20 goals, 23 assists for 43 points for the Penguins. And of course, he's out, but still number 3 on that list. 2014 draft, Leon Draisaitl, 27 goals, 46 assists, 73 points. Pasternak, 36 goals, 30 assists for 66 points. And William Nylander, 20 goals, 21 assists for 41 points. Not complaining about his contract now, are they? 2015 draft, Connor McDavid, 25 goals, 49 assists, 74 points. Jack Eichel, 28 goals, 33 assists, 61 points. And Kyle Connor, 24 goals, 23 assists, 47 points. Not too bad. Kyle Connor's a pretty good player. On the 2016 draft, we've got Matthews leading that list. 34 goals, 23 assists, 57 points. Patrick Laine, 15 goals, 28 assists for 43 points. And Matthew Tkachuk, 15 goals, 23 assists, 38 points. 2017 draft, Elias Pettersson leads there with 21 goals, 27 assists, 48 points. Cale Makar, 9 goals, 24 assists, 33 points. And Nico Hischier, 12 goals, 16 assists, 28 points. But ask any New Jersey fan, and Hischier's numbers are just going to go up as his career goes along. And it's not all about the numbers with him either. 2018 draft, Svechnikov, 18 goals, 24 assists, 42 points to lead that draft class. Quinn Hughes, 4 goals, 28 assists, 32 points. And Rasmus Dahlin going through a sophomore slump. It is a sophomore slump. 2 goals, 24 assists, 26 points. And his plus-minus is middling as well. So Dahlin's having a bit of a struggle in year 2, as many defensemen have, and I mentioned this before, I'll mention it again. Victor Hedman had his struggles his second year in the NHL, and then he just turned it around. Penalty minutes leaders around the National Hockey League shows us that the day of the enforcer, probably done. When Evander Kane's the number 1 penalty minutes leader with 93. Eric Goodbranson, 88. Brendan Lemieux with 87. And Nazem Kadri with 77. So, there you go. Points per game leaders in the NHL. Connor McDavid, 1.54. He's barely ahead of Leon Draisaitl, was 1.52. Artemi Panarin, 1.49, having an amazing year. And Nathan McKinnon, 1.48. So there's your points per game leaders. Goaltenders. So I got to have goaltenders on the board, because if I don't, people are like, where are the goalies? And I say, they're the guys in front of the net. And then I realize they're talking about the stats, and I go, I didn't do it this week. And the people are like, why didn't you do it? And the rookies, you got to have the rookies every week. So here we go. Save percentage among goaltenders. Hudobin leads the way with a 932. Jari and Bishop both have a 930 save percentage. And Darcy Kemper, we're waiting on when he gets back because he has that 929 save percentage. And Arizona really does need him in net. I know Aiden Hill, with him in, the record's been okay so far, but they need Kemper. Scoring among goaltenders. Because this is a topic this week, yes, Pekka Rinne leads goaltenders in scoring with a goal and 2 assists. Bernier and Vasilevsky both have 3 assists in net for their respective teams. So we can point out how many players that they're ahead of in points, but that's kind of mean to point out how many skaters have less points than their goaltender at the other end of the ice. Shots against. These are goaltenders that are being played a lot. Hellebuck, 1,208. Price, 1,145. Freddie Anderson with 1,137. So when I looked at the number of starts, this isn't appearances. This is how many times they've started a game. Price is your leader with 38. Anderson and Hellebuck both have 37. These are 3 goaltenders that could absolutely get worn down as the year goes along. Maybe that's part of the reason why Anderson's numbers have been down over the last couple of weeks. They may very well be overworking him. We had this problem a couple of years ago. It may be cropping up again, and Toronto's going to have to figure something out. Either you're playing Hutchinson more, or you're finding somebody else for the backup. I would say play Hutchinson more, but that's just me. I know we've got the break coming up too, so that should help. Absolutely should. And I have been saying for a while that I think the Jets are overplaying Hellebuck. And they are. And, of course, Carey Price in Montreal. All these goaltenders play in Canada. All of them are Canadian teams. I'm not sure what the correlation is there. But John Gibson was just off the board, so he plays in Anaheim. It's not Canada. Empty net goals. Sebastian Aho has 5 to lead the league there. Gustav Nyquist in Columbus has 4. So that's not a small number, considering over a full season. That's almost 10 goals Aho's going to hit into the empty net. Missed shots, posts. So, yeah, I've tracked it down. The missed shots, posts. How many posts has a guy hit? Well, according to the NHL app, Leon Draisaitl leads the league in hitting the post with 11. Jacob Vrana and Elias Pettersson hit it 8 times so far this season. So who hits the crossbars the most? There's 5 guys who've hit the crossbar 3 times. Makar, Hall, there's Pettersson again. So that's a combined 11 for Pettersson. So if you felt like, gee, Elias just been snake bit, yep. Virtanen also has 3 for the Canucks, and McDavid with 3. So the Canucks may very well lead the league in hitting the post and the crossbar. It's quite possible. I didn't look that stat up, but it's quite possible that the league leader in posts and crossbars is the Canucks. 2 ways to look at it. Either, they're so unlucky, or they're almost accurate. So there's 2 ways to look at it, because they don't count as shots on goal. Now, major penalties. I've been saying this for a while, and here's the stat to prove it. Delorier is as close as we have to an enforcer in the game right now. He has 10 major penalties on the season already. Most of those are going to be fights. Brendan Lemieux with 5, and Austin Watson also has 5 in Nashville. So there's your numbers there. Penalties drawn versus taken. So this is also an interesting stat, because if you get the feeling like, hey, that guy made the other guy take a penalty, he made that happen. There's a stat for that. And for guys who are kind of, he got caught behind the play, he ended up taking a penalty there, maybe he shouldn't have, there's a stat for that as well. And then there's the net difference between the two. So Eichel's a positive 19 when it comes to penalties taken versus drawn. He draws more penalties than he takes. So I talk about this in reviews a lot, like this guy draws a penalty, meaning he's got the puck, they have to take a penalty to slow him down. They don't have a choice. He's on a breakaway, they have to hook him or else. So Eichel's the best in the league at that in terms of the net difference. Pettersson, plus 17. Ehlers is a positive 15. So I've talked a lot about Nick Ehlers and the great season he's having. He is drawing penalties with his great play. And Nathan McKinnon with a positive 14 net difference. So notice Ehlers is up there with some pretty heavy competition. So I've talked a lot about Nick Ehlers, and this to me is a stat that kind of shows, hey, this is the thing that he's doing that you can't measure with a goal or an assist that makes him stand out from the others. Who draws the most penalties in the NHL? As in, who makes the other guy take penalties the most? The answer is Brad Marchand with 30. Brady Tkachuk, 29, and Jack Eichel with 28. Who's taken the most penalties? That's Evander Kane with 26. Tom Wilson has 25, and Nazem Kadri also has 25. So I thought that was an interesting stat to pass along on Stats Day, Wednesday, every second Wednesday. And of course, I had been doing the Panic Index last week. I didn't do the Panic Index. Instead, I did the trade deadline look at who might be buyers and sellers. And I think that's kind of fun. And based on how that video performed very, very well, tells me there's a market for that. So that's kind of what gives me that information. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding who on this board is having a pretty darn good season and we're not talking about it. Like a William Nylander, like a Ben Bishop, I guess, to some extent. And are we really underestimating what Artemi Panarin's done and could do from here for the New York Rangers? Could he actually get them into the playoffs? These questions and others will be answered between now and April. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And I will talk to you again soon.